Okay. Um, Hi. My name is Datu Adeyemo, and I just wanted to make this video because it's been on my mind for about a year now, but I haven't had the time nor the courage to actually make a video explaining what I think is going to happen for the future. But I think it's very apparent now, in my eyes at least, and I think that's where the world's going to go. So I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can, and hopefully, if anyone's listening, um, either now in the present or in the future. I hope you guys take my advice. Maybe, who knows? All right, so today is June 13th, 2021, and the price of a singular Bitcoin right now is about $35,892.18. Um, I think that price is very insulting to what Bitcoin is and what Bitcoin is going to do. Now, in my eyes, I've been buying Bitcoin, but I didn't really realize the value of Bitcoin until 2000. I mean, until it was $30,000, and then I started to realize it's going to change the entire way we understand finances, and not even on a financial scale, but on a global scale. And I'll try to explain the way I know how. The way I see it is that a lot of people right now own Bitcoin, but they don't know what they're doing with it, whatever. But the intensity and the transparency of what Bitcoin is getting so powerful that countries are starting to adopt their natural resources to be able to even get the energy to convert to be able to make the algorithm to make a Bitcoin to mine a Bitcoin. That's what they're doing. People are investing in infrastructure to even create Bitcoin. Like we're at this age right now where pollution's a really big thing and nobody wants to be able to do like toxic waste or electronic waste or whatever. But countries around the world are adopting their natural resources, whether it be solar from the sun or wind or hydro or geothermal energies. Like uh, many countries around the world are now siphoning their natural resources to just create a Bitcoin, and I think that is absolutely powerful. I think that in addition to countries actually adopting Bitcoin as their national tender is just amazing, which is why I think $35,000 at this time of recording is insulting. What Bitcoin is right now, or what Bitcoin can be, is too powerful of something to be quantified by a number. It's too powerful to be quantified by a number. And me being, I've dived into the different blockchains. I've used the different blockchains, and I've seen that everything comes back to Bitcoin. No matter what the profit is, it comes back to Bitcoin. And I personally believe that the next country that is able to harness their natural resources to be able to mine Bitcoin at the cheapest cost will be the country that wins. It will be the country that becomes the most dominant because they're able to give people the availability of transparency at the cheapest cost. And the transparency factor of Bitcoin is what allows people or what is going to force people to be honest. You're starting to see countries like build solar panels or build wind turbines or build hydro things or hydromechanics to be able to harness all the electricity to compute it to be able to create a Bitcoin. Not to do anything else with another coin, but strictly a Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So I'm it gets to a point where you're starting to think it's like this idea of a digital asset has forced the entire globe to start working on getting the infrastructure to build it. Just the concept of the Bitcoin has done that. And you look at it, $35,000. It may seem like a lot to people who may not be able to afford it, but to people who have that and can keep on investing in it, that's not a lot. That's not a lot of money, especially for something that could as easily go to 500,000, if not $1 million within the next couple of years. And at that point, we already know how powerful it can be. I think what's going to happen next is that countries across the globe are going to have to come together within their respective countries and get the energies of their natural areas. So now you're starting to think about not even the Bitcoin, but where the location of where that energy is. Um, the most natural of resources usually comes from Africa. Africa has the most natural of resources. It's abundant natural resources. And so let's say Africa decided to make an infrastructure to be able to power their entire system and create Bitcoin. Africa would be the next generation of wealth, of money, of power if they are able to do that. China's on it as well. America's on it as well. Russia is on it as well. South America's on it as well. Australia's getting on it right now. Like a lot of these countries are building. They're building towards transparency because that's the only way. As their fiat dies, Bitcoin rises. And I think people who still use dollars or still use their native thing, like they're just using it because like it's just the traditional sense. But once you really understand that this is happening and it's happening quickly, then you're starting to realize that Bitcoin is not going to stay at $35,000. It has this it's not. There's no chance it's going to stay at $35,000. Like to even say that it's 35,000 out of my mouth is just insulting to me myself, knowing how advanced this technology is. And that's why I want to like really push the message out saying that for Bitcoin to really become a dominant global force, right? It's step one is going to be the infrastructure needed. The countries are going to have to build the infrastructure needed to create or mine Bitcoin. That's just the first step to get the energy required. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, just transferred to a different form. So I think the oil and gas industry is done for, and they're going to have to go towards natural resources because that's the cheapest way for people to be doing it. So in America, we are our availability is solar, wind, water, sometimes terrestrial like geothermal areas, and we're gonna need to harness those energies to create Bitcoin. Number two, the creation of the actual Bitcoin, and then the usage and the distribution of it. Once Bitcoin gets to a point where it's able to be realized by the mass markets. Understand that the countries that have already been able to mine it at the cheapest cost will be able to distribute it at the cheapest cost as well. And then the blockchain will definitely start to rise. And then I think three after that is just global accumulation of Bitcoin. Now, if we see Bitcoin for $35,000 because that's what we see it as. But once the globe has no other choice but to invest in this concept that you cannot destroy, then I think $1 million, 2 million, 3 million, $4 million is very possible for a singular Bitcoin. And sooner or later, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin as like 0.00001% of a Bitcoin is expensive. So I've been investing in Bitcoin. I've been investing in the energy needed to create the Bitcoin. And I just think that those two factors, in my opinion, are the only two factors that really matter for the next like 50, 75 years from now. Like the energy needed to create it and then the actual thing that it's making is the only thing that people should really look into in terms of investing wise, in terms of like energy consumption. That's what I'm doing. So that's my message out. I just think that a lot of news and farce is trying to delete or discredit what Bitcoin is. But because you don't even know who created it, you don't even know if it's a he or she or a they or a group of people. It's an idea, and that idea has blossomed to the point where it's gotten to 5 digits. And so, what's 6 digits? What's 7 digits? What's 8 digits? If people start to really get on this thing and understand what it is, then you can't destroy the idea. And I think Satoshi Nakamoto being hidden and staying hidden, or I don't know if he's even passed or not, that concept you cannot find, you cannot target, you cannot control because you don't know where they are. And I think that is what's going to continue to build Bitcoin and continue to build other blockchains the way it is. At the end of the day, everything points back to Bitcoin, whether it be financial, whether it be economics, environmental, energy, everything just points back to the concept of Bitcoin. So, um, I still think like $1 in Bitcoin is still very valuable. $10 is very, very valuable. $1,000 can change your life. $1 million is damn near, you won't even people won't even know who you are, and you'll be that wealthy. You know what I mean? So take it for what it is. I just wanted to make sure I just wanted to make sure that I got this video out because I know personally that this has to happen. There's no other way this is not going to happen. And so I want to come back in the future and look at this video and be like, yes, you were completely right. And so I'm going to be working myself and my investments to be able to mine, create, store whatever the Bitcoin and the energy needed. That is my entire focus for the next X amount of years. So thank you guys for watching. Um, yeah. Hope to see you in the future.